I can say because I'm eating.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So I've started recording this meeting. Like I said, my name is Taylor Jacobs. Let's get into the 2023 fall semester for Debate Union. Oh, we're blocking. I don't know if you can see Joshua because I can't see you on my screen. But so our advisor this year is going to be Professor Lazarus. You won't really need to speak with him. He is there sort of just like for supervisor role. This is me in the middle. This is Josh. He is the head of membership and outreach, and we're going to discuss what that means as well. So, first of all, right now we are a policy debate team, and the league that we compete in is from the American Debate Association. So this focuses on resolutions arguing that the U.S. government should or shouldn't commit to a policy change. So these are real current events. These are not things that are made up. So the league that most of you guys will be starting off in would be novice, which means that you're going to get the evidence. So you don't have to go looking for your own. If you have debated before and you'd like to debate in the open circuit, please private message me and let me know so we can talk about that. We're definitely open to that. Excuse me, can everyone hear me? I just assumed that y'all could hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. For the fall meeting, so this is our first intro meeting. Of course, it's virtual. My goal is to have a second meeting that's going to be in person, but before that next intro meeting it's just going to be the same thing. But before that next meeting, we're going to have some actual meetings where Josh is going to speak to you about the evidence and equip you with the knowledge and competency to be able to debate and policy. And how to evaluate the evidence and things like that, okay? So that's going to be, as of right now, we have it scheduled for Tuesdays at 5:30. The closest tournament that we'd feel comfortable prepping you for would be October. This is not something that we have completely wholeheartedly committed to, but it is a goal that we're reaching for. And the subsequent one after that would be November. These are going to be virtual. Just to avoid the stress of sending y'all across states. It gets a little tricky there, but we can talk about that later. Whoever wants to compete, we encourage you, we welcome you, we really want you to be able to have that experience. Josh and I both have debate experience. Josh has been debating more recently. I think he debated in a tournament last semester. I've debated high school and at a collegiate level. And so it's something that we both really enjoy. I've only done policy, but I'm gonna open up the floor for Josh so he can kind of share what his experience is and what he likes to do with debate and how he'll be equipping y'all for the meetings that are going to be for the fall. You can go ahead and take over.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. For the most part, I don't know too much about what else to add there. Debate is, one of the favorite things I like to do all the time. I also don't want anybody to see me as like a coaching role. I want you guys to understand this is a student-led team, and that's our goal. We want to be student-led. We want to prepare to continue to be student-led once me and Taylor are gone. So that's the goal more than anything else. Is we want to make sure that people understand that one, debate's really cool. There's lots of competition behind it. There's a massive competitive scene with teams all across the country. It's really cool that you can like show up to a tournament and you can talk to people that are going to all different colleges at once. There'll be like 20, 30, 40 colleges all together, and there's having fun debating. You can have a round against somebody. It can be really intense, and then afterwards you guys can go have lunch together. So it's really social and really trying to be like, but also competitive, and it gives you a really strong I would say for me, I struggle to do research, do things, just like read or look at the news on my own time. But debate gives me a competitive incentive, or at least like a reason to help me get over that hurdle of, I mean, not having a reason to do it, not having like there's not like a lot of incentives to stay informed or to try to be good at communicating. And so the extra competitive incentive is there for me. So real quick, the reason why I'm saying all this is because our goal is to get ready for tournaments. The first tournament that would be is going to be held by, well, that we're planning for at least, is going to be held by Wayne State, which is, it's going to be completely online. It's going to be, I believe, the third weekend of October. And the reason why we're also doing this tournament is because it is meant to be one of the best beginner tournaments of the year. There are 3 ones that are meant to be for people that are like new, and that means that if you have any worries at all about like previous skill, like, there's no need. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you to, like, to not be nervous. I can't tell you to do that. But what I can tell you is that this is going to be a place where you'd be against people of similar experience, where you don't have to worry about going against somebody that's been doing this for years. Because in the end, people are like, nobody stays in debate at this point I mean, just get free wins or to be annoying or to be a bad person. Like, if you are in a competitive debate, it's because you want to be able to learn better yourself. So it's a very growth-based activity. So with all that, the week by week leading up to it, would be ideally starting next Tuesday, we're trying to get ready for tournaments. So people can pick partners. People can go through cases. We have an evidence packet supplied by the American Debate Association, as well as every week we want to go through, ideally, people practice reading cases out loud to work on public speaking skills. We want you guys to do entire practice rounds, even though they are a little bit long. It's like, I mean, it's so beneficial because when you're actually practicing going through the roles of a debate, you can really get everything down beforehand. So if you're stressed about a tournament, it's a lot, I mean, it's easier to not be stressed about it if you've practiced everything beforehand. Additionally, doing things like response drills where we give you guys cases or topics that you have to practice making quick thinking rebuttals to. That's a skill that you do not get to practice normally in classes. I mean, I was in one of my classes today where we were doing an in-class debate, and it was a little not like sad per se, but it's, you're watching everybody struggle to come up with. I mean, to many people, I might think of like intuitive things, is you get to practice that in a setting where normally you can't, because in classes you can't practice for a class debate like really beforehand with the material. But what you can do is you can just try to get better at your debate skill overall. So discussing cases, practicing response drills, and doing entire rounds, something that we can do here and that we can help supply with you. Additionally, discussing the topics, because we do already have a topic for next year. We'll talk about that next week. And finally, be able to practice communication skills, because we know a lot of people have different goals here. And actually, everybody at the end of this meeting, if you want, I happily would collect either like student emails or phone numbers. We can actually have like a one-on-one discussion about what you guys want out of debate over the next year. Because I mean, a lot of it is we want to tailor it to you guys, and I think competitive events, at least for me, is one of the most helpful ways. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. We understand that. So first, what and when are tournaments? I wanted to say, going up to like a tournament is usually going to be about 5 or 6 rounds. Each round is going to be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That sounds really long. I promise it flies by, because you're only actually going to be speaking for about 15 minutes of each round, because you and your partner versus another team with their partner, the judge has to make decisions, and there's lots of a little etiquette that we'll talk about later on. There's no need to stress it. When you think about it, like talking for 15 minutes is something that, I mean, you could do pretty easily. I mean, that's something that me and Taylor are doing right now to you guys, and that's what the rounds are going to be. How you prepare for it is, one, we have evidence for it, and if anybody here does have any previous experience, there's JV and open divisions. I'd probably recommend, even if you have any previous experience, the JV division is probably the easiest to get into. When you're preparing for it, most of the cases are pre-written for this tournament, which is why we want to do this tournament specifically, because the second one we had in mind does not use these packets, or is not limited to this evidence pool. So it makes it a little bit harder. Not impossible, just a little bit harder. And so when we're preparing for it, you often can make your own cases, or that's why we have evidence for you guys to be able to use. And then if you don't think you're ready or nervous, I promise you, just trying out debate is one of the best things that you can do, as it helps you get over that nervousness. So, I mean, I can't recommend it enough. If Taylor, you want to take it back over, if you ever want me to butt back in, but that's my little piece. I love debate. It's my life. And I hope that you guys can, I mean, hear how much I enjoy it, but also I hope you enjoy it too as well.
Thank you so much, Josh. As y'all noticed, Josh is extremely passionate about it, and we're very grateful to have him here to be able to coach. It really is not a student-teacher type of thing. It really is like more like peers, coaching peers. So we hope that this is not intimidating for you. We know that I'm going to show you a piece of evidence from a couple years past, and hopefully you don't get too intimidated, because when you actually step in and do it, it's a lot more fun than you realize. So
there is the traditional debate still, but now there's a hybrid.
I wasn't expecting this to show up so fast. Okay, this is a video that is sort of giving you an example. This is like I believe this is high school level debate. This is not who we're expecting you to be, but this is what practice and experience does for you as a debater. Okay.
There is the traditional debate still, but now there's a hybrid.
That's right, policy debate. It's about detailed research and the physical ability to argue your side in just a few short minutes. WD and Sean Lewis introduces you to the fast minds and some fast talking he found at Whitney Young High School. Overall health emergencies,
It's debate so fast,
Highly contagious will be undermined.
so few of us can actually understand.
Ensuring medical care for immigrants is critical to Candace White.
But here at Whitney Young High School, some of the country's best are honing their craft.
And rising healthcare costs collapse the economy.
Kevin Hurd
Capitalize the shelf life and I use relative cookie to space company.
and Miss A.L. Gonzalez are ranked among the top high school policy debaters in the country. And the way they speak
It's called spreading. It's a combination of speed and reading.
The risk of the advantage, Justin, the Bernard argument, argument
actually serves a purpose.
You just made that faster.
There is indeed a jargon to the debate language.
It is like hearing a different language.
Where you and I talk about 60 words a minute, high school policy debaters get upwards of 350.
Did I told you so? How many for midterm? In debate, you have 8 minutes. To get as nuanced and in-depth and rigorous as you can, which requires a lot of research.
Miss A.L. and Kevin have spent years practicing,
Why is chemistry necessary to solve?
and the reams of research,
You never know what the other team is going to argue.
taking hours to prepare,
I mean, each individual file alone can take someone about a week to do.
makes you realize that past the fast talking,
26 central blood
these are incredibly smart kids.
Okay, so we use this video not to scare you, of course, but just to point out the importance of your time in debates. In these tournaments, you are allotted a short amount of time, and the evidence that they give you, it's in a packet, even though it's digital. You will have the opportunity to read through them, and pick out what you're going to be arguing for. So when you're affirmative, you're going to be arguing for a specific position, but you're still going to have to build on that argument, and you're going to be able to manage your time wisely. So this is an extreme case. We're not expecting you to read at this level, but we did want to show you an example of what it's like to manage your time wisely during tournaments, because you are allotted a certain amount of time. And if you are the first affirmative, when you're finished with your constructive, which is basically where you propose your argument, you cannot bring new evidence after that. So it's really important that all the evidence that you want to propose to the judge, for the judge to vote for, you have it in that allotted time. Want to keep in mind again that the evidence is provided by the ADA. The evidence is from real current articles and from professors, research fellows, and government officials. Not every word on the cards, which is the packet I was telling you about, the evidence that we get, are read. There are portions of it that's highlighted. And so you are required to read the highlighted parts when you're going to use those cards. But the ones that aren't highlighted, I suggest that you read it in its entirety, because that's what I did in high school. And it served me well, just so I could understand the context of what was going on. But it's not required. You don't have to be experienced. No one starts as a professional. It takes practice and experience. We will be teaching you what you need to know, and it is a lot easier than it sounds and it looks. So those of you who do not have experience with debate, there are two sides. There's an affirmative and a negative. So what we do is, basically, it's a team. You have a first affirmative and a second affirmative. First a negative constructive and a second negative constructive. So you and your teammate, or you and another person from a different school, most likely you and your teammate, will either be serving as affirmative or negative. Both of you guys will get the opportunity to argue for from both sides, affirmative and negative. Don't be afraid of that either. It's actually better because you're able to rework the argument and kind of see where the opposing team is coming from. So you'll be working on either the affirmative or negative side per tournament, and you'll be arguing for or against something. The ADA did just drop some new evidence for the fall, which we'll be looking at in the next meeting, which will be next Tuesday at 5:30. So we'll be able to go in depth of what the affirmative looks like for the plan and what the negative looks like for the plan. So, an example of the plan would be the United States federal government should amend the Mutual Defense Treaty with Japan to explicitly exclude mutual defense of the Senkaku Islands. This was evidence that we got a few years ago, where you would be, say, the affirmative, the plan they present, my plan is correct because blah, 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 blah. And the negative is basically affirmative is wrong and won't work because yada, yada, yada. So on the negative side, you may have noticed that it says like harms, which are nuclear war, things like that. The reason we say that, it's very dramatic, but because we're doing policy debate and it does deal with the United States government, we do sort of stretch and emphasize a little bit so that way our plan, which would be the negative, if you're a negative constructive, would win the judge over. It would persuade the judge why the affirmatives plan doesn't work and why the judge should vote for the negatives plan, okay? So this is an example of the card that you'll be getting. Notice that not everything is highlighted. You'd just be reading all this that's highlighted in blue, and you'd be citing it, which would be Japan and China's relationship is on the brink. They're economically interdependent, but the Senkakus are breaking down their political detente, which is Chang 19. That's what you would cite at the beginning of each card. You would say this part, and then you would go on to read this when you are dating in tournaments. So to become a member, we do require you to have a minimum of a 2.0 GPA. Active membership means that you apply for at least one tournament and you attend meetings regularly. What you mean by regularly is not every single meeting, but we do expect y'all to want to debate. After all, you did join. And we're going to be doing like hybrid, which is where we do virtual and in-person meetings. And we completely understand that not all the meeting times are going to work for everyone because, we're full-time students. However, we do expect you to have interest and to be consistent on this team, okay? As of right now, there are no dues to enter the team, but if you want like t-shirts and things like that, that would require money, okay? So the executive board, as you know that there are a lot of e-board positions open, and we'll get to that in the next slide, which positions are open. So executive members are members who wish to serve on the executive board, and you would need to reach out to me for your position and what you'd be running as. An election will be held for the position. You would be able to propose why you're the best for the position, and I'm going to send a link to the member group chat so that way we'd be able to vote. And basically, the way that you would propose whether you fit the position would be just a quick little video, or you can have it in. No, I would prefer a video actually. It's going to be at like a maximum 60 seconds. I put at least 1 minute long, but really let's just keep it to 1 minute. We want a short video. We want to know who you are and what you're running for and why you think that you'd be the best fit. So if you do get on the e-board position, this is a new thing that we're doing, but I think that it's necessary. Officers will need to sign a written agreement stipulating that they understand and agree with the new responsibilities. And what I mean by that is that you're saying on written paper, I, Taylor Jacobs, understand that I got this position as president, and my role and responsibility of being president means I need to attend meetings. It means that I need to do my best to be communicative with the rest of the officers if something's coming up. I need to be consistent with my position, my role, whether that's taking the time for meetings or that's organizing events, or if I'm the social media coordinator, I'm posting pictures online and doing what I need to do, and I acknowledge that that's my role. So it's not like we're going to throw you in jail if you're not a good e-board member, but we just would require some communication. Again, we completely understand things happen, so we're not expecting perfection, but we do want it to serve as sort of like a reminder of why you joined and why you wanted this position. Because we found out oftentimes people will ask for these positions and not be able to hold up on their end of the bargain, okay? So just communicate, please. And then accommodations can be made if something is wrong, if you need to step down, if you can't make certain things, that's fine. But communication needs to be shared. Okay? So we have, this is a more of a spring thing, but I do want to let y'all know, we have this Babble Battle. This will be our 3rd annual Babble Battle next year, where basically we do this thing online where we debate on like funny things, silly things. It's not anything policy debate, but what we would do is structure it as if we did the debate. So you would give your constructive, we'd give you a shorter amount of time because it's not something that's policy related. But like, let's say the debate topic where socks are necessary for you to wear. You would either create an argument saying yes they are or no they're not. We would time you, give you time to cross-examine the opposing team, give you time to rebuttal and do your closing statement. So it's just something to be fun. It's not anything formal like that, but it's something that is fun, and it's kind of how we expand as well our social media presence. And we do give a prize to whoever wins. So our available officer positions right now is the vice president, secretary, and social media coordinator. VP would basically is just like a really big help, collaboration with president and secretary to make flyers and events, collaborating with the president and secretary to determine level rankings, and coming up with, or your representative of the team pretty much. As the vice president, as well as the secretary. The secretary does a lot of administrative work as well in assisting the vice president and president with setup and takedown of campus events. So let's say on the next intro meeting that's in person, like I had mentioned before, let's say we need to set up the tables. Someone needs to go and get the pizza. Not that you have to pay for the pizza, but you have to go get it so we can have it set up. Things like that is a really big help. So that way things can move and can flow correctly. And just it just avoids stress, and it's just better to manage time of the members on the team. So if that's something that you're interested, please let me know. You can either email me, send me a pin email, or private message me on GroupMe. We are open for these positions. And of course, you see what the social media coordinator does. That position is available as well. So officer must-haves. To be an officer, you need to at least attend 4 meetings each semester. You will be responsible for monthly check-ins. I do want to let you know these check-ins are more like, hey, this is what I did this month. Everything's going well, or hey, this is what I did this month. This is what I didn't do this month. Everything is going wrong, and we need to reevaluate these things. So it's a lot less formal than it sounds, but it is something so we can be all held accountable for how the debate union runs, and it will be for the betterment of the team, of course. You are required to attend fundraisers unless otherwise stated. So last semester we did a bake sale. It was really fun, but it would have been better if it's best when everyone can participate in things like this. It is a really good team building activity as well, because we learn our strengths and our weaknesses when we're selling products. And these products are not like homemade or anything like that. We didn't do homemade last year. We did just like store-bought and then wrapped them pretty and sold them. And it really helped us earn money for the team to be able to provide. So it's really fun. I have not set up a fundraiser for the semester yet, but if that's something that we need to do, I'll be letting everyone know, members and officers included. So you don't even have to be an officer to help with the fundraisers, but officers will be notified of fundraisers and things like that to attend. So this is a new thing that we've done. I think that it's best to award those who have been consistent and have exceeded expectations here on the debate team. It's not going to require a whole bunch. Again, we really just welcome y'all as debaters. We understand that a lot of y'all have not debated before, but those who are enthusiastic, those who are consistent with the meetings and just showing their overall interest and have grown and learn, we do want to reward that person, so that, it's sort of like an incentive of keep going because the effort that you're putting in is worth it. It's working. Officers also were working to get custom merch this year. More on that later. It will really just, I haven't ordered them yet just because I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to apply. And then I'll just get it in bulk if need to, okay? And we'll go over the design and everything. So if you want to join, here is our Instagram. All of y'all, I think, have already joined. You're already in the group me. You've already signed in the application. If you know anyone who wants to join but they haven't signed in the application, have them request to join on PIN. We're still going through those. And if you know someone who did do the survey and they haven't been accepted, let us know. We just want to we don't approve students unless they've done the survey because we want to have that information on file. So like I said, if you know anyone who wants to join but they have not been approved yet, just let us know, okay? And send them to PIN. If you're interested again in becoming an officer, make sure to express it on the application. We did put some prompts on there just for you to answer that question. If you don't want to be an officer, that's perfectly fine. If you do, let us know. I think that is it. Do we have any questions?
About the positions, is there any way we could split them as like first year members or no?
What do you mean split them?
The social media one, would I be able to like share the work with another member?
If two of y'all express your interest in that position, that is something that we could talk about. If that will kind of alleviate some of the stress, I'm definitely open to that. So I guess the short answer would be maybe.
Okay.
I mean, also, like, just know, like, when you, like, in the debate team, goal is that, like, we are a team, we are friends, we can work together. I never, like, if you apply for a position, the idea isn't that you are going to, like, have to put this entire thing, like, as your life now. We're here to help you. If you need, like, a week, 2 weeks, even, like, if you think you just can't do it anymore, like, people are here for that. So, like, we really want you guys to understand that this is, debate teams are meant to be more of a community. Like, it's like, how can you argue and like learn things together? Like, how can you have like a healthy argument with somebody if you're not friends, or you like you don't try to be at least? So that's what we really want to emphasize. We want you guys to understand like this is meant to be like a very like good team culture that we try to develop here. So don't stress it. Like, obviously, we want people have to like be responsible, and that's like an aspect of leadership that we hope that you develop because like you're in college. So I'm hoping that you're trying to develop leadership skills. But outside of that, like people, we got you here. If you ever need help with anything, like there's no need to stress it. It's just like having people where it's like, oh, this happened. This is the person you could talk to if you want to like help with social media. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, communication is definitely key, and just letting us know. But if that's something that you want, just private message me just so I can get a reminder, and mark you down, okay? Do we have any other questions, guys? We don't have any questions. No one else. Okay. Do we have any fears? Is there anything that y'all are intimidated by? Let's get into the nitty gritty. We don't have to have small talk. I've talked y'all's ear off for the past 38 minutes.
I debated for like 3 years, and spreading terrifies me.
Thank you, Taylor,
Said
for
that?
being honest. I know it terrified.
Oh,
It was terrifying to me too when I first heard it in person.
Oh my gosh,
It's
Taylor,
not
ready
so
to debate?
bad. You just let them do their thing. I've found that it really depends on the judge because when I was with a judge and my opponent was spreading, the judge was looking at them like, I don't know how to judge you because I don't know anything that what you just said. So it really does depend on a lot of these judges and their experience levels. But I'm glad that you had that experience of debate 3 years. Did you do policy?
No, policy scared me because of spreading, but I
Really?
did both public forum. Yeah, I did public forum and Lincoln Douglas.
Nice. Okay,
Oh my
we'll
gosh,
talk more about that.
fantastic.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
What did you debate for?
Sequoia.
No way.
Yeah, for real. Where were you? I'm gonna turn my
I'm
camera on,
surprised
by
you
the
don't.
way.
Of course,
Oops.
I love Me and Mr. Bartula are great friends.
Oh
So
my
yeah, okay.
God,
So
Martilla!
we'll talk about that later. That's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just found a friend.
So I
Oh my
I
gosh.
love Sequoia
Okay, I
so much.
saw
Great
him
school.
randomly
I
like in downtown one day. He was amazing. I love him.
was gonna say, so as far as like things like scary at first, but it's a lot instead of thinking of it as something that people do that's like crazy, that's like inaccessible, it's a lot better to think of it almost as like a slightly different language. So when you're looking, like if you've ever had somebody that you haven't talked to before, like it's like a certain like culture that like has an accent you've never heard before, I mean like it's gonna sound different. Like it sounds weird. And like,
Yeah.
sometimes like you hear somebody talking with a certain accent and like you don't understand anything that they're saying, which I mean is rough. And in many ways, when people talk really fast, it's similar to that. In the same way that if you're part of a family that talks really fast, you understand fast talkers. I mean, I talk pretty fast right now, but I'm sorry about that. But so,
He's
I
always
mean,
been like
a
this.
lot of it is just something you just get
I
used to
do
this with
too.
time. So it's something that I promise you, you do not need to be scared of in any way because it's something that you adapt to really like surprisingly well. Like
Yeah.
most judges, when they're judging, even if they're hearing people go top speed, they can just not most judges, but the ones that have been doing it for a while, they understand this just because it's like to them, this is how they speak and this is their language. So it's kind of cool, a little bit scary in that, like obviously that means that there is a learning curve in the same way there's any activity, but it's something that it's learnable. It's something that you can get past. In that, I mean, the amount of people that I've seen think they couldn't get past it, but then get past it is significantly more than the other way around. So it's something that you don't have to be scared of in the same way that obviously evidence looks scary. And so when you're going through, I mean, this isn't for you, Taylor, because obviously you know what evidence looks like. But like for, I realize I guess to both Taylors.
I just realized that
So
too.
yeah.
Yeah. We have the
So
same
but like
initials too.
We do.
that makes it so bad. Oh no, two TJs. So like when you see evidence, it's like, oh, that's kind of scary. You think of the idea that speech times or tournaments, everything is different than what it would be. I mean, just in your normal life, and that's kind of beautiful. It's really cool that there's an activity where people have been devoted to it for so long. Like even the traditions in debate are built on the backs of debaters and how they've done at tournaments over time. Like there's no like official rule book for all these things, but it's things that you learn just from the fact that people have this is tradition. And so that's really cool. It's something that you can learn because these aren't arbitrary rules that somebody made one day. These are things that have developed over time to be the way they are. So everything's learnable, everything's meant to be somewhat accessible. And even then, if you think that there's something that you couldn't overcome, you can ask judges and opponents for different parts, like things like, hey, can you speak slower? And almost every single time they will listen and understand because people are in debate. Once again, as I said earlier, it's for growth and it's not just for like being competitive. And I mean, if anyone did high school debate, you'll understand that part's a little weirdly competitive. Often because people are trying to fight for college applications and stuff. There's no college applications anymore, guys. People don't need to compete to like try to get into like, oh guys, I guess what I got like second place at some random tournament, therefore you should let me in your college. Like, no, we can just
Yeah.
care about the education part now. So that's also really cool.
Yeah, I'm totally excited. It's just, I believe you that it's definitely learnable and that I'll get used to it, but it's just right now when I'm not used to it, it's like, and I'm like, whoa, like, calm down. But yeah, I'm really excited though to get to know you guys and to learn how to spread myself.
Yeah. And Ida, I think Ada, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Ida Ayasu. I'd love to hear more about your mock trial experience and if you're a part of mock trial here at Georgia State. You can type in the chat if you're able to speak, that'd be great.
I can speak right now. So I did mock trial at DeKalb School of the Arts, and then I did do some debate volunteer.
Okay. That's cool. I
Oh
love
my!
it. Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying that it's two different worlds. I guess mock trial has like it's slower, but it's like more acting.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to debate, I guess my biggest fear is that I stutter, but I feel like they wouldn't even notice.
No, I haven't noticed it, so you're really good. I think public speaking helps you, like because when you're in, because okay, I started this in high school, I was in this magnet program for performing arts, and I did drama. And I was like, I don't know, I tried to do a sport, and I realized very quickly I'm not good at sports. So I was like, let me do a sport for my brain. And that's how I got into policy debate. And at first, it was like no one was on the team at my school. This was like, I was there for the first year that it had started at school, and it was very nerve wracking. I think like the first time I won 16th place, and they broadcasted it at school, and I was like, okay. But as I got into it, I learned techniques and when to dramatize, when not to dramatize, when to poke holes, and that's my favorite part. Poking holes in the opponent's argument is lovely. And learning how to do that, as well as building my public speaking skills, it's like you'll get to that point if you're into it. You'll get to that point where it's like you don't even know that you're just going because you're so comfortable in that. And that's something we really want to stress. The reason why we're getting started so soon with the meetings is because we want there to be more repetition so that when you do go in front of strangers basically in a tournament, you're comfortable. Like you're like, I've been doing this in front of Josh and Taylor for weeks now. I'm ready to go. So it's really important that we emphasize that we're here for you. Yeah, poking holes is validating. It's my favorite part because people will slip up or they'll say something wrong, and I'm like, that's not according to the card that you just read. And it's my favorite thing, but that's why you have to read the evidence. Reading the evidence for both sides and understanding the context is going to set you apart in these debates because you'll know what you're talking about, you'll know what the opposing team is talking about, and you'll know exactly where to pinch them where it hurts. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about y'all joining. Thank y'all so much. Do we have any more questions, concerns, fears, scares, or just overall happiness? And are y'all following our Instagram? That's really important so we can give you updates on that as well. Yes, thank you. I hope y'all are following our Instagram. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the group me so that y'all can follow it. We're gonna be updating it. Well, our social media people are gonna be updating it. But I'm excited about it. Josh, do you have anything you want to add before we let these people go?
The only thing I would say is, and it's only like especially if you're interested or like you just want to talk about things, because obviously I know like talking in a group setting also can be scary. I know like, a lot of people come here because they want to practice that skill, and it's like over a WebEx call at like 5:30 on a Tuesday. It's like it's this isn't the time that you want to start it. But if anybody has any questions, I mean, one, feel free to reach out to the GSU email, feel free to DM me or Taylor on GroupMe. I will like unbelievably happily have a call through you throughout the week if you just want to talk things out, be like whatever you want. Like we are here because we want like one, team atmosphere is really important because like ideally, even though this semester we don't plan to do anything in person, the goal would be like in a year or two we can like travel across the country for tournaments, which that's pretty fun. So at least I hope it does to you guys. So we actually want to like be able to have like a somewhat decent conversation. I want to be able to laugh at jokes that you say. So we want to develop that. So feel free. Don't be scared. We want this to be fun. We don't want this to be scary. If there's anything that you're scared about at all today, I cannot promise you enough. When you try it out, it gets a lot better. I mean, and this is like not like comparing anybody here to like a middle schooler or something. But it's like right now, like as a job, I coach middle and high schoolers and even like a few elementary schoolers, and it's like they all come in super scared, and it's like even they'll try it out like a little bit. After like a few weeks, all of a sudden everything is better for them. It's like and like I'm hoping if I can like have some elementary schoolers like come around to debate, I'm hoping that you guys can too. But if you don't, it's completely fine. We understand, and we hope that you guys have a great day and just like find something else that you like on campus. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Debate's not for everybody, but we hope it's for you.
Strengths and weaknesses, guys. But we're really excited. Again, we'll be reiterating the times. We know that we're still kind of moving into the semester, but we're super, super excited to have y'all here. And even if you can't make all of the meetings, that's fine. We would just like to know that y'all enjoy it. And if any time you have concerns or questions like that, please feel free to reach out to us. We do have a debate email. And I'll also link that, but in case you forgot our personal emails. So we will have that available. Check that email every day, 5 days a week. So yes, we will respond as soon as we can. But if there's nothing else, we hope that you have a great rest of your week. We'll talk more about in-person events in the next meeting where you'll be learning the criteria. See ya. Thanks for coming.